I think due to time constraints in respect of the duration of the session, I think we probably have to kick off anyway. Welcome to everybody to the session, CoCre8 and SUSE, continuing to partner together and grow together. Today we will be discussing the SUSE SUMA, the SUSE Manager. It is an area that, from a CoCre8 perspective, we are trying to assist and drive. Obviously, for those of you who know, we predominantly in the SAP SUSE arena, as our preferential platform when implementing SAP HANA on our PrimeFlex solutions. And yeah, so I think let's get on to the first slide, just to give you a little bit of intro as to who CoCre8 is. And thereafter, we will have a session with in respect of the afternoon. So if we can, all right, so there we go. We are basically up and going. Now, it's all very well looking and reading what we have there, but it's very important to understand who CoCre8 is if you are not a person who knows who we are. Literally, we were CoCre8 comes from Fujitsu. We were Fujitsu South Africa, part of the greater Fujitsu organization, worldwide organization. In November of 2019, it was. CoCre8 was really formed from an idea. We had the opportunity, our shareholders had the opportunity to buy out the rest of the shares from Fujitsu Japan. We are now 100% locally owned and a BEE level 1 entity. And we, on the 1st of, yeah, I keep laughing every time this comes up. On the 1st of April 2020, CoCre8 was launched. And what was very interesting about that, not only being April Fool's Day, but we were right in lockdown. And it's been a trying and difficult time for everybody. But one thing that it actually has shown us is that not only has CoCre8 survived, but we've actually thrived, not only as a new brand, but with the assistance of all our existing partners, customers, etc., and specifically our alliance partners. And that's where we really get into the meat of what we are doing today, and that is obviously Fujitsu, CoCre8, and most importantly, SUSE. So it's been a tough year, but it's actually been a very productive and fruitful year for us. And we hope to continue that as we grow, as we bring on new products and new portfolios within the CoCre8 stable. And yeah, so what I'm going to do is just give you a little bit of an update there. Do you have any questions for me? Please, look at the bottom of your screen and you can raise your hand there, etc. if you have any questions about who CoCre8 is. What I'd like to do is just give you a rough idea, in more detail as to our areas within the SUSE environment. And if we can move on to the next slide, please. So this is just some of our customers that we are allowed to put up their logos. What we've done for the various customers, this is, as I said, primarily in the SAP HANA environment. And in all cases, we actually the customers are running on a SUSE platform. I'm just looking, maybe one or two are an exception there, but at least 98%. If we can move on to the next one. Okay, so this is from our perspective, and this is because of the heritage of Fujitsu, but it's obviously pulled within to CoCre8 ourselves. and that is the 49 years of partnership. Now, specifically in the environments of the Fujitsu PrimeFlex portfolio, which is our integrated solutions. The 49-year partnership with SAP there is very important to us because not only do we have our development people within Waldorf, but we have their SAP's people within our environment to help us develop all the solutions in respect of the hardware, the certifications, etc. And one of the key important areas is on the PrimeFlex is the new servers, and most importantly with the persistent memory, the Intel Optane memory within those solutions. We can move on. Next slide. All right, that just gives you a little bit more background. I'm not going to go into too much detail there. One thing that I did sort of slip up on the first slide there on the previous slide was the fact that as Fujitsu, we won the SAP Pinnacle Partner of the Year award for the past two years running. Yeah, let's move on to the next one. All right, as I was saying, the specific areas that we have within the SUSE environment is the PrimeFlex. It's our integrated systems running SAP HANA. Then we also have obviously and that's the classical or integrated systems, then the hyperconverged. And there you can see we have a few different portfolios, SAP HANA, obviously, as well as the VMware environments, and then the fully integrated systems where we have the SAP landscapes, FlexFrame, Orchestrator, etc. And we have one of those installations. In fact, there's 2 or 3 installations now within South Africa in that environment, and those are areas where we would look at, or our partners who have those type of implementations and installations have the cloud-based SAP environments, but it's all based on SUSE and our infrastructure with FlexFrame Orchestrator. If we can move on to the next one. This is really a simple slide giving us the overview in respect of the end-to-end optimizations within the SAP application environment. And you know, from a CoCre8 perspective, we really have it's a family of solutions that we have to offer. And as I said, we will be bringing a lot of new products that is all complementary to what we do. So that's really it in a nutshell from a SUSE perspective. I'm looking at my watch and I'm literally hit the 10-minute mark, which is quite impressive. If there are any questions with regards to CoCre8 and our partner alliance with SUSE, happy to take those questions. Just drop it into the question box, and I can answer it during the course of Johan's session. So what I'd like to do now is just hand over, because that's all the slides there. Thank you. And hand over to Johan else, who will pick it up now and give you a great overview in respect of obviously our relationships. Hey, Johan, you're just going to beat the drum there a little bit, as well as we're going to go into the SUMA SUSE Manager. Thanks very much. Thanks, and awesome. Have a good afternoon, everybody.
Thank you very much, Stephen, and I really appreciate being here. And sorry, I'm in the middle of load shedding, so I'm just going to switch off my camera. And I just want to make sure that you guys can see my screen. Let me just see. Now it's going to go there. Slideshow. Can you see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Okay. I won't be able to see any raise of hands or anything like that. So if there's any questions, please just stop me, interrupt me, and then I'll answer the questions accordingly. And so today's session is really around SUSE Manager and the cool capabilities SUSE Manager has. And I must say that if you look at the amount of clients who's basically using SUSE Manager, we are inundated with the amount of people who want to start using SUSE Manager in multiple ways, and multiple ways of understanding what that is. But let me drive down quickly to understand what is SUSE's vision. SUSE's vision is really to help organizations simplify, run the business as it is supposed to be. You don't have to basically worry about IT stuff or anything like that. We want to make sure that the business and IT actually works together on certain components and making sure that it's easy to deploy, easy to make sure that the IT environments are patched accordingly and so forth and deployed. And then also understanding how to modernize the environment. So when you start looking at how you're going to deploy your Fujitsu systems, if it's going to be on-prem, how you're going to deploy it, if it's going to be in a hosted solution with Fujitsu, how you're going to basically make sure that those systems are deployed and managed and patched. And also making sure that you bring applications into the modern data, modern era of how you can basically look at how we can modernize those applications. And also, how do we make sure that we accelerate the environment? So I'm understanding, when business looks at how they're going to push forward into the future, how they're going to drive the components into that, of understanding how you can basically use IT and infrastructure simultaneously, and also understanding how business is going to basically work with the environment. And this is where we come into understanding what SUSE can offer you. With the collaboration with Fujitsu, CoCre8, and SUSE, as Stephen was basically mentioning, that we are working very closely with SAP. We're working very closely understanding how to basically have a hybrid cloud environment, how to use your on-prem Fujitsu systems and working with the hyperscalers or anything like that. We actually have the capability of making sure that your SUSE environment, your open source environment is fully patched and deployed. We are the only open source vendor that can support multiple distributions out there. And this is giving you a holistic view. If you want to basically work from a development environment, from a data center environment, from a cloud environment to the edge, we actually help organizations bringing the fore of understanding exactly where that is. Understanding if you want to basically put a desktop down, a point of sale solution. We work very closely with Fujitsu, understanding how we can basically do that, and CoCre8 can help us define the architectural design of what they want to deploy, where they want to deploy it. And also we're looking at slates for SAP, understanding how the SAP HANA deployments, ERP, is actually deployed in the environment, understanding how you can use high performance computing, understanding how you can bring machine learning and artificial intelligence into the fore. And then we've got SLE Micro, which is a operating system that's immutable, that you cannot just go and basically run applications against it, because it's basically got a read-only file system. And then also we're going to basically drill down into SUSE Manager itself today, understanding what they can offer you in the environment. And then, of course, on top, you've got SUSE Rancher, where you can basically run things in a Kubernetes environment. If you want to run it on Fujitsu kit, or you want to run it in the cloud, we can do all of those components simultaneously. But really what we're going to talk about is SUSE Manager and what you can do with SUSE Manager. So first of all, when you start looking at SUSE Manager, it's really about the assets that you want to basically manage. The assets that you basically deploy in your data center, understanding what type of memory they've got, what type of CPU they've got, understanding exactly the components, how you're going to deploy this. If it's going to be a 4-NIC environment, or let's say you're going to basically bond 6 NICs together, you know what, we need to understand what those systems are capable of doing. And then that basically drives down the automation component, understanding that when you plug the system into the data center, that it's pre-built, pre-automated for you. And what I've done for a lot of clients is understanding how they want to basically automate it. Do they want to automate it to 80%? Do they want to automate to 90%? Or do they want to have any type of human interaction? And that's the key component what SUSE Manage can offer you. So if it's going to be from a retail solution right up to the data center, we can automate everything for you from a click of a button. And then within SUSE Manager, if you're going to basically take a Fujitsu system and you plug it into the network, it can build itself, and then you can apply a configuration on top of it to become a HANA system itself. Now, if you want to basically put that in, you're going to basically build a high available solution, high availability, we can basically apply those configurations in SUSE Manager on top of the components that you want to deploy in your environment. Then what you got is we've got the provisioning component, where you can provision applications, you can provision systems, you can provision desktops. you can really basically go into a flow of provisioning virtual machines, etc. So you can really see that SUSE Manager is very powerful and actually building a lot of things. And I'm going to show you a little demo of what SUSE Manager looks like and what it can do, especially when you start looking at a virtualization management component and also a clustering component, where you can actually do everything from one single dashboard. And this is also very key, is to understand how you can start building your own private images. And the private images is that you can click on the button in SUSE Manager and you can build it off a template. And then once you've actually applied the template, then you can create a formula of how to build a machine out. Then you've got multiple ways to do that. If you want to do it via a different mechanism of, let's say you want to deploy it by Ansible, or you want to do it for Salt or any other method, we are capable to basically use SUSE Manager to integrate in those components to do certain components for you. So I've actually had clients who are basically using chef recipes to use SUSE Manager to do certain things. We've actually got Salt built into the environment to build your machines and build your environment for you. So the beauty of what we can do as SUSE and SUSE Manager is use all the different tools that you've got in the environment that you can basically use. And we don't believe in the process of rip and replace. We use whatever you've got in your environment to make sure that it's usable companies come to SUSE and say, you know what, we want to integrate it into the channel list. Now, the nice thing is, if we can't bring it into the channel list, we've got the capability within SUSE Manager to bring it from a third party. And that's the beauty when you start looking at SLES for about the operating system and application stack. We have the whole plethora of systems, making sure that we can manage the whole stack. And then, of course, patch management, because patch management is very, very, very important for organizations. Understanding what is vulnerable, what is the vulnerabilities, what is the criticalities around your environment. How do you make sure that the systems are patched accordingly? For example, if you go into, let's say you manage, let's say 100 systems, and audit requirements come in, and auditing is asking you, is my system patched? Yeah, can you show me, can you prove to me that my systems are patched? Is there a certain vulnerability, a CVE, that needs to basically be aligned into your patch management system? How are we going to basically do that? And the beauty of this and actually have one single dashboard to see what my criticalities is, that to make sure that it's patched. I can create a user in SUSE Manager for auditing to look at my system. What is going on in my system? Are you happy with the patch solution that I've got? And my patch solution once in 6 months, we can actually align with any type of patch cycle you've got in your environment. And with the patch management, we've got live kernel patching, where you can do live kernel patching without rebooting the system. And we've got a whole alignment of a year cycle that you can go and do your change control from a year's perspective to reboot your systems only once a year. And that is all inclusive when you start looking at what we have as a management solution that's built into SUSE Manager. And then the beauty of what we can do with configuration management is that, let's say, for example, your systems need to look identical from a management point of view, not from an application point of view, from a management point of view. Is to say that my fstat file needs to look like this, my disk space needs to look like this, my root password needs to be hashed. All of those configurations can be aligned with SUSE Manager, where you can apply a configuration that the system configuration is exactly aligned to all the other components that you've got in your environment. And that is what we can actually see from a SUSE Manager point of view, is to have a holistic view from a build mechanism to a configuration mechanized approach to apply the patches and also apply any of criticalities in the environment. And then workload orchestration, that we can actually look at certain workloads to basically orchestrate into different environments. So that if you've got a system running, let's say SUSE Linux Enterprise SP15 SP2, and you want to orchestrate it into a different operating system, let's say /15 SP3, we've got the capability to make sure that we can move that operating system to another, let's say, hardware platform or anything like that. And that is the beauty of what we can do with it, is to make sure that you've got historical machines and we can move it to another machine type or a new type of machine. And you can run that existing application onto the new type of machine, because with SUSE Linux, it actually identifies the kernels, everything like that on the machines when you basically move them across. And then also, if you want to basically start looking at redeployment, you can really look at, if you deployed a solution, you can redeploy it somewhere else. And also, when you start looking at the subscription model we have with SUSE and within your hardware stack, the subscription do not live and die with the subscription. It actually can be moved to another machine. Subscriptions can be moved onto the other hardware, onto the Fujitsu hardware that you've just procured. Now, if you start looking at the health, we can actually look at the whole health of what you've deployed, how you've deployed it, and when you deployed in your environment. From a provisioning point of view, make sure that we automate that whole thing. From a health perspective, you understand exactly what my CVEs are, what the patch cycle is, how you can integrate into your patch cycle from a perspective of understanding what you need to patch, how you need to deploy, and what you need to upgrade from a application or an operating system perspective. And then you can basically look at how are you compliant to the auditing team, because this is very, very key. Because if you're not compliant and there's certain risks involved and you haven't patched the systems, then you can get into serious problems, because we know exactly what systems are not patched, understanding what you should be doing at a certain time frame. And I'll show that now just to you on a little demo that I'm going to do. And please ask me any questions when I'm doing the demo. And then, of course, we can understand that security is also a very key topic, because from a security problems for your organization as well. And then we are the only Linux going to do for you. Is there any questions thus far? Anyone?
Yeah, and I don't see anything in the chat either.
Okay, can I continue with the demo?
Yeah, please do so.
Okay. Can you see my screen?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So this is the landing page of SUSE Manager. So you go onto your SUSE Manager server, and this is the landing page, what you can basically just have an overall look-see of what's going on in your environment, okay? And right here, you can actually see what my register systems are, activation keys, managed auto installations. You can actually look at the configuration files that you want to manage. So let's say, for example, you want to root your hash or root passwords, or you want to manage certain perspectives of the applications are patched and things like that. You do it through these configuration files. You can manage organizations, because SUSE Manager is quite nice on multi-tenant, where you can start building out different organizations depending on how you want to look at the dependency cycles of each individual machine. And then, of course, just SUSE Manager by itself that you can manage as well. But in this demo, what I've got here is that you can see I've got a couple of servers there. And in the servers, I can see that I've got 497 updates there. I've got security patches over there. I've got bug fixes, and I've got enhancements on the patches itself. And then I can go and look at them, and I can basically click on it and say, you know what, I'm quite curious about what's going on in the environment. So let me click on that server. Once you click on the server, it actually expands it into much more information that you can actually look at it. You can do this by grouping systems from a dependency point of view. So let's say, for example, you put all your database servers into one category, you can put your applications into one category, or vice versa. Or you can say that this database looks at this application, and you can actually map them up accordingly. Now, the nice thing about this is that you can actually see the legends on the top there of it. You've got software configuration, provisioning, groups, auditing, states, formulas, and so forth and so forth. And you can really do a lot with this, because now, from a perspective, when you start landing on the machine itself, it actually tells me what the machine is, the host name, and also what the IP address is, and the DNS name of it, and also looks at what my channels is associated to that system. Now, this particular machine is a build server where I can actually go and I can build operating systems for a, let's say, a desktop or a point of sale terminal or something like that. And then you can actually decide how you want to basically build that out. Now, what we can actually do is look at my critical patches. Now, critical patches is very, very, very important to notice. Now, if you've got a system and you've deployed it wherever the case may be, that means you need to log onto the machine via SSH, and then you're going to need to do a yum test or an apt-get test, or let's say a zipper test, understanding what patches needs to basically be deployed. With this solution, you can do it all in one dashboard. This dashboard, you can basically do it all with Ubuntu, with CentOS, and you can basically do it with SUSE and OpenSUSE. Yeah, you can actually see that I've got certain security vulnerabilities, and then you can see I need to basically look at the security update for INSU cursors. You can look at Python, you can look at the Kerberos 5 libraries. And then you can see that that one is moderate, but that one is important. But right next to it, you can see that if I do a patch deployment, a reboot is required. Now, this is where live kernel patching comes into play. So if I go and click on this little button over there, then you can look at the package being affected, and that gives you all the detail of that specific CVE. You can see that the CVE is 3752, fixed after vulnerability in the Bluetooth module, but that, of course, is not necessarily applied to a system that doesn't have Bluetooth. But because my system is running Bluetooth, it identifies it as that. If you don't have any Bluetooth libraries or anything like that, it's of course not going to basically be there, because you're not going to be able to patch it. But when you start building out your operating system, you can actually decide what you want to put in, and then the less you put into the operating system, the less you need to basically patch, and that helps you with your overheads on bandwidth and so forth. But coming back to the CVEs, yeah, you can actually see everything that needs to be patched accordingly, and understanding what that is. So if auditing comes to you and say, listen, we need to basically do this, is it important?
Johan, we seem to have lost sound. Is it just me?
You can see both of these systems are
affected,
and all you have to do is you click on this button and you basically click on the applied patch. When you click on the applied patch, you can go and you can say, okay, when do I want to basically apply the patch? You can apply it in the evening, and then Salt minion will come and call on the function of saying, okay, do you need to basically have a patch for me? And then this will basically patch the system, and then you can decide. If you have live kernel patching, you can only you don't have to reboot right now. You can only patch in a year's time, or as the time progresses, when your change control is needed. But if you do not have live kernel patching, of course, you're going to need to basically bring downtime into play, and then reboot the system after that has been patched. Okay, any questions? Are we all okay?
So far, you're all good. So far, you're all good.
Awesome, thank you. And then if you look at software, then you can basically look at packages. And there you can look at the packages. Of that, you can list and remove them. You can upgrade them. You can install different applications. And then, of course, you've got different types of profiles. And different types of profiles, you can actually do a compare between let's say a test dev and a production environment. And this is pretty cool, because what you can do is you can actually create a profile. And then let's say, for example, you have a patch cycle every, let's say, 4 months or something like that, and you just want to create a base profile. And then, of course, you're going to go through dev, QA, and prod. Now, what you can do then is once you've got dev working and everything is working there, you can create a profile against that. If you go into production and something goes wrong, you can compare what is going on between the two systems, so that you basically just click on compare this system to that one, and then you can actually see, oh, you know what, all these things are different. Maybe I should revert back. And then what you have to do is you select all of these libraries, and then that's going to basically apply and revert the machine back to the state where you had in QA. And that's the beauty of what this can do for you, is if you run into any problems, you can revert back at any given time on the patches that you've deployed. Then you can basically define on your software channels that you want to basically bring into from a third party or anything like that. Or you can basically start building your own applications, however you want to basically bring it in. And this is the beauty of what you can do with the channels, is basically bring different channels into the fore. And then also, when I basically look at SP migration, previously on my presentation, I did speak about how you can basically do workload orchestration. And then this gives me the capability from a SP migration is to bring a machine from, let's say, Sleeve 15 SP2 into Sleeve 15 SP3. All you have to do is build a target mechanism, and then you can actually do a SP migration instantly right there and then, so that you can actually have the capability to move from one operating system to the other instantaneously. And then within the open SUSE environment and to SUSE environment, we've got a lockstep mechanism where we can do in-place migration from an open SUSE to a SLE environment, that it's 100% aligned when you want to basically go into production with the capabilities with your L1, L2, L3 supportability with SUSE or with CoCre8. And then also from a configuration point of view, configuration is where you can actually manage your infrastructure, where you can actually go and you say, you know what, I want to hash my root passwords, everything like that. And then you can deploy the files, you can compare the files, and you can manage the configuration files. And that is going to be if you've got 10 systems or 1,000 or 10,000 systems, all can be done from this dashboard. From a provisioning point of view, here you can actually say, to what extent do I want to automate? Do I want to basically have 99% of all my installation automated or not? You decide. And then from there, you can basically use a kickstart script, or you can use AutoYast profiles. And what I've done at another clients was that they had Fujitsu systems and they had certain rate controllers, everything like that. As soon as I plug it into the network onto, let's say, VLAN 600, it actually goes, identifies the machine via PXE or HTTP over PXE, and then it will basically build the machine for you as a configuration type. So if it's going to be, let's say, a HANA machine or anything like that, or I will show you, sorry, Stephen. Hello?
No, nothing. I don't see any questions.
Okay, sorry. Okay, let me then continue. So what I then did was I helped the organization to get the machines operational, and then they decided to basically have a very minimalist operating system built into it, because within SUSE Manager, which I will show you just now, you can overlay a configuration type onto it. And so with the provisioning, we build the machine to a certain point, and then you can start overlaying configuration from the dashboard itself. You can actually put systems into groups, etc. In auditing, you can go and audit the machines with OpenSCAP of understanding how the machine is built. So this is also working very nicely with the environment of start looking at auditing and compliance, so that if you've got any fear of machines not being in compliancy, you can just go and do an audit check onto the systems itself. And yeah, you can basically do the configuration type around how you can apply the states. So this is very key and very cool as well simultaneously. So let's say, for example, you've built your machine and it's a very slim type of operating system. You take your Fujitsu system, you plug it into the network. Then you basically build the operating system on top of it with no interaction with yourself, because it's already pre-built, pre-configured. Then what happens is you apply a state onto the machine. Once the state is applied on the configuration, which I will show you now from a formula perspective, that can basically become the machine. And that is not you to basically plug in a memory stick or a DVD or anything like that. You don't need to have anything onto the machine except a network card with some sort of a network boot. And then I can configure the machine to a state that it can be useful. And then here you can basically do whatever you want to basically do. So let's look at some of the formulas and forms that you've got. Yeah, we can basically build out your salt boots. You can basically build out your clusters. If it's a SAP HANA cluster or anything like that, you can basically build that in. Yeah, you can align the CPU mitigation within this, the Linux kernels that you've got in your environment. Yeah, you can actually build out your DHCP server. You can build out your TFTP server. And also what you can do is you can build your own DNS servers. You can actually build out, let's say, your Prometheus and Grafana, because that is also very cool. So when you start looking at your monitoring, your dashboards, and understanding what you want to look at your specific network interface cards or your memory or your CPU or your application, Prometheus and Grafana can give you the dashboards. Now, what is happening is Prometheus will basically bring the alerting into a dashboard, which is Grafana, and then you can pop it onto your screens, and then you can holistically see what is happening with all your systems. The cool thing about this is you can drill down into those components, understanding exactly what is going on to the machine. If it's network high utilization, is it memory high utilization, or is it basically hammering the CPU to death? This is where the cool components is, to understand exactly what you can do from a granular perspective to monitor your systems. And also what you can do then is you can basically look at HANA. You can basically build out your NetWeaver, or you can basically build a machine with KVM with a virtualization host, which I will show quickly what that means. So let's look at this one machine that I've got, which is this server over there. And yeah, you can actually look at virtualization. And these are my systems that I've got. So let's say, for example, you've deployed all your systems and the Fujitsu systems are running and you've got KVM on top of it. I can actually go and build machines on top of it. I can actually go and stop and start. I can recycle. I can actually reboot them. I can delete them. I can do whatever I need to basically do for them. And then also I can actually see what component they've got. Is it critical updates? So from any point of view, from a dashboard perspective, you know exactly, is my machines healthy? Are they running? Are they getting hit by, I don't know, let's say network traffic or anything like that? Is there vulnerability that's basically causing me to have network problems and things like that? Yeah, I've got everything. From a central dashboard, I can have a visibility of everything that's happening in my environment. And I just want to show you how quickly it is to basically build a machine. You can click on the virtualization button. It's going to basically load a template form for me. And in there, I can basically say, indeed, this is very cool, because now I can start looking at building that requirement over WAN link. So I can actually put machines over a WAN link, and then I can basically build machines remotely or wherever they are. Let me just see how long it's going to load, but let's go continue with, there it is. And then there I can basically put the name. I can basically say I've got a KVM or QEMU environment. I can say that it's fully virtualized. And this works very well with the Fujitsu systems, because I've seen some of these machines, especially with the new types of memory disk cards they've got in the environment and things like that. These machines are really, really phenomenal and quick, where I can actually deploy, let's say, 100 gig or 200 gig virtual machine in a couple of seconds, and it's very quick. And then I can basically look at my disk type if I need to basically do certain things, my storage pool, what type of storage pool I need to basically deploy it into. And then what you've done, all these components, what network it should go to, if it's going to be, let's say, a VLAN 500 or anything like that. And all I do is I click on the create button. Once I click on the create button, that's going to basically build a machine that I can actually have visibility in exactly what these types are. And then if you want to basically look at certain components, then you can actually click on this button and you can start the machine. But one component that I want to show you is the formulas and forms that I've got here. Formula catalog. And in there, you can also see what we have from a perspective where you can start building out the machines itself. But last and not least, I want to show you what we have as capabilities to manage the full environment from a Linux perspective. So if I click on admin and I look at my product cycle, this is going to load all the components for me of what I can start looking at managing. So if I look at SUSE Linux, let's say 12, 13, 12, 15, and so forth, all the service packs, I can actually manage those components. Plus, if I look at the last key, I can actually do all of these components as well. If it's Oracle Linux, I can do RHEL, I can do CentOS, I can do Ubuntu. All of these are based on what we can do with SUSE Manager. And that's a quick demo and presentation from my side. Now, I just want to know, is there any questions? Or is everybody just stunned how cool SUSE Manager is?
I think so, Johan. There doesn't seem to be any questions. There obviously are. I mean, there's no question about that.
Thank you for that, Stephen. And yes, so that's my my quick overview of what SUSE Manager can do. If there is certain things that companies want to understand, please reach out to us, understanding what we can do, and I'll hand back to you guys.
Thanks very much, Johan. And yeah, thanks for that session. It was actually very informative for me because I didn't, as you probably all heard in the beginning of the session, I didn't know too much about SUSE Manager, but at least I know a heck of a lot more now. As Johan did mention, if there are any other questions, oh, they're asking me to put my video on again. I forgot about that part. If there are any other questions, please feel free to drop your contact at CoCre8 or at SUSE. Drop them an email and we will make sure we get back to you with respect to any questions that you may have. And now I think we're going to move over to a very interesting part of today's session, and that is the entertainment. I hope Larry is ready, but I'll just give him a quick introduction. For those of you who don't know, Larry Soffer is South Africa's top mentalist and entertains and inspires audiences around the world. His act includes incredible feats of metal bending, mind reading, thought predictions, and telekinesis demonstrations. Larry has performed for celebrities like Jay-Z, Beyonce, Mike Rutherford, okay, I don't know who that is, from Mike and the Mechanics, sorry, still don't know who that is, Andy McDowell, as well as royalty like Prince Harry and 10 times for the Prince of Saudi Arabia. He's the youngest South African to perform at the world-famous Magic Castle and the only South African to be awarded a membership. Larry aims to inspire people to believe in the impossible and open their minds to the idea that they are capable of anything and they have the power to create the future they want. That's what's written on the piece of paper. Yeah, just prepare yourselves to have your minds blown because I'm still trying to figure this one out. We had Larry on our previous session, and yeah, that's just too much for me. So without further ado, I'll hand over to Larry, and yeah, he'll take you for a very interesting ride. Thanks very much.
Is that Prince Harry?
Oh my word!
This will be unbelievable. So you ready for this?
Yeah.
Big Bang. You see it?
Oh my god!
Stop, that was an F.
Nice, yo, that's crazy, dude. Whoa.
Larry, we're not the mentalists. We can't hear you unless it's just me.
Oh, can you hear me now? Is that better?
Yeah, that's absolutely better.
Great. Thank you so much for that, Stephen. I was saying thank you very much for that wonderful introduction. My name is Larry Stoffer, and I'm a mentalist. I read minds, I predict the future, I bend metal, I do weird and wonderful things that you guys are going to get to experience right here, right now. So we're going to get some people up onto the stage over here just to help us out. I know that we've got some people in attendees, and we'll bring you all up onto stage. And once we've invited you up to be a panelist, please switch on your screen and your camera, or at least your screen, your camera that is, and your mic, right? So please unmute yourself and switch on your camera, and then that way we can interact with each other. So we're going to do a little bit of a warm-up just to get you all into the swing of things, if you'd all agree with that. Yes? Great. So let's see. Let's get some people up onto stage over here. From the panelists,
I suggest Shazia.
From the attendees, yes? Shazia, okay, great. Shazia, if you can put your screen on for me, and if we could have some attendees as well, if we can invite you guys up. So Bruce, Siniso, Rochelle, Sean, we're going to invite you all up because we have a nice intimate crowd here today. And so once you're up here, I would like you to switch on your camera, and I would like you to switch on your mic for me. And then we're going to do a little bit of a warm-up. But Shazia, if you could switch on your camera for right now, that would be great. While we are getting some people up onto the panelist view of here, onto the panelist section. Great. Hi, Shazia. How are you doing?
Hello. Hi, Larry. Good, and you?
Good, good. And I see that we've got, we're getting Bruce, Rochelle, and all those people from the attendees up into panelists. Once you're here, please, Bruce, Siniso, and the rest of you, once you've been invited up here, please switch on your cameras and switch on your mic. You can unmute yourself. And yes, so we're going to get started with a little bit of a warm-up just to get you all into the swing of things. So everybody extend your right arms out like this. And your left arms out like that. That's good. And everybody, so I want everybody to do this, whether your camera's on right now or not. And everybody raise your arms and lower. And raise and lower and raise. And thank you so much. Thank you very much. I'm just kidding. Everybody go like this. Point your right thumbs down towards the floor. Point your left thumbs down towards the floor. Cross your arms and come back and cross your fingers. And Siniso, please keep your camera on for me, right? Okay, so make sure that your pinkies are facing up, your thumbs are facing down, and your arms and your hands are crossed. Don't uncross your fingers. Just do this. Now that I got you all warmed up, are you all ready for the show?
Yes.
Yes.
Great, great. So we're going to have a lot of fun here today. In fact, Siniso, we're going to play with you and Shazia over here, a game of noughts and crosses. Have you ever played noughts and crosses before?
Yes.
You
No.
have, Shazia, and
Yes.
have you?
I haven't.
You say you haven't. Okay. Well, this is a game of noughts and crosses. Maybe it looks familiar to you, where you have the zeros and the X's, and you have to get 3 in a row. Have you ever played that?
Yes.
Oh, Siniso's never played it. Okay. So I tell you what, Siniso, we're going to use you later, but you can keep your camera on for now and keep yourself unmuted, please. And then, Sean, you're going to play with Shazia. You've played noughts and crosses before, right?
Yes, I have.
Excellent. So Shazia, seeing that you're the lady, you're going to choose to be the noughts or the crosses, and you're going to make the first choice over here. And I believe that I know exactly what your choices are going to be in this game here today. And for that reason, I was able to predict the outcome on the other side of the card over here. All right, so there's an outcome that's predicted on the other side, and I believe that that's the game that you guys are about to play. So Shazia, what are you going to be, noughts or crosses?
Crosses.
Excellent. So where do you put your first cross?
In the middle.
In the middle. Interesting. And tell me, Sean, where do you put your 0, your nought?
Sorry, I've got a bit of a delay on my line here.
It's okay.
put it on the left top.
Left, so over here, this one?
That's it.
Okay, great. So that's excellent, Sean. Maybe Sean could beat you, Shazia. Let's see if he can double bind you. Let's see, where's your next cross gonna go?
Top right.
Top right, so over here?
Yes, over there. Yes.
Okay, that's an interesting move. And tell me, Sean, where are you gonna put your next nought?
Bottom left.
Bottom left, while you blocked her over there. That's a good one. Shazia thought she was going to get away with that one. And where are you going to put your next cross, Shazia?
Oh my goodness. Bottom right.
Bottom right, over here?
Yes.
Okay. And Sean, what are you going to do next? It looks like she blocked you, Sean. This is interesting.
No, middle left.
Middle left, just over here. Okay, it looks like Sean got you out of the. Maybe this is going to be a draw. It looks like it's going to be a draw here. Where are you going to go next, Shazia?
I'm gonna go next to left. Left. Go middle
This
left. Yes. There we go.
Middle left. Okay, great. And then Sean, where are you going to go next? Looks like it's going to be a draw here today, guys.
Yeah, top in the middle.
Top in the middle. Okay, so nobody won here today. Shazia, your last cross goes over here. You guys played this game over here today, right? You could have chosen absolutely anything, but you chose this particular game, right? So this is what's so crazy. This outcome has been predicted before the show even began. This card has been sitting here the entire time in full view, right over here. And what's so crazy is before the game even began, I wrote down a game that was exactly, let me just move this around here so it's like this. Naught, naught, x, x, naught, naught, x.
Wow.
So crazy, right?
Yep.
And what's even crazier is that I believe that the reason why this game matched my prediction here today is because I believe that we all energetically connected. We are all connected for one reason here today. And we are connected because the moves that you actually just made with these noughts and crosses were meant to be. You were meant to place these noughts and crosses in these exact positions because we are all connected through CoCre8 and SUSE here today. And not only that, with companies like these, anything is possible, and you guys have proven that. Everybody give them a huge round of applause.
Blown away, wow.
Thank you. Now, what's so interesting is that you guys created that out of your own determinism, right? I didn't influence you in any way at all. Is that correct?
Nope.
Yeah? But I'm gonna play a little game of influence right now to see if I can actually influence your minds to think of a particular playing card. In fact, Siniso, we're gonna do this with you, all right? So are you enjoying yourself so far, Siniso?
Yeah, no, so far so good.
So far so good. And where are you from?
I'm from Eswatini.
From?
Swaziland. From Swaziland.
From Swaziland. Oh, I've been there a few times. Amazing. I think I might have even bumped into the prince or the king or something like that. Is it prince or king?
It's a king.
The king. I think I might have bumped into the king at the casino in Swaziland many years ago. So, well, nice to meet you, Siniso. And Siniso, we're going to play a little game of influence right now. But before I get started, I want to teach you guys the virtual round of applause. So everybody raise your hands like this. And I want you to shimmer your hands back and forth like this. And that's the virtual round of applause, and that's how you show some love during this time. So before we start off with Siniso, everybody give Shazia and Sean a huge round of applause. Thank you very much, guys. You were amazing. All right.
Thank you.
Yes, you're welcome, and you can stay here with us unless we swap you out. But I'm sure the guys in the background will actually see who else we have to play with here. Otherwise, we might swap you out. We might keep you. Let's see as the time goes on. Siniso, I'm going to influence you to think of a particular playing card, and I believe in my ability so much so that if I get this wrong, I'm going to teach you how to do this. Does that sound cool?
Yeah.
Great. So, Siniso, that particular playing card is upside down in this box over here. Your first choice is the color. So, is it going to be a red card or is it going to be a black card? Don't say anything out loud. Just think it in your mind. Have you got something? Yes?
Yes.
So, Siniso, immediately when I look at you, I'm getting that you've gone for the wrong color. Can you just change it to the opposite color, please? And now tell everybody what that color is that you just changed your mind to.
Black.
Black. So you initially went for red, yes?
Yes.
But then I was able to read your mind and coax you into changing to black. Other than that, this seems pretty fair, would you say?
Mm.
Yes? Okay, good. So now you said black, yes? So you changed your mind to black, ultimately. Is that right, Siniso?
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay, good. So now in the black, there's clubs and spades. The club is the black heart, or the black flower at least, the black flower. I'm sure you've seen that before. And the spade is the black upside down heart. You've seen those, right?
Yes.
So most people in your position, Siniso, would go for the club. But maybe I'm only telling you that to influence your mind to change to the spade. Or maybe I'm giving you this whole scenario to influence you to try and trick me and stay with the club instead. So you tell me, what are you going to go for, clubs or spades?
Club.
Clubs. So imagine that all the clubs are spread out across the table. You see number cards and you see picture cards, Siniso. Whichever you choose, those are the ones that we'll use. Numbers or pictures?
Pictures.
Pictures. So imagine I'm picking up the 3 picture cards, the Jack, the Queen, and the King. One of them stands out in your mind right now. You tell me, which one is that, Siniso?
The Jack.
The Jack. So the Jack of clubs, right?
Yes.
You sure you don't want spades?
I am sure.
You're sure? Okay, great. So this pack has been sitting here the entire time in full view. All right, it's been here in full view the entire time. And there's a little sticky dot on it. I don't know if you can see that over there. Can you see the sticky dot?
Yeah.
You can see it? Let me show you. Let me show you a little bit closer. You can see it says number 20. And Siniso, that's because I put one card upside down at position number 20.
Okay.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, Siniso. This is number 19. The next one down is number 20. You could have chosen any card, any color, any number, but you chose the...
20th.
You chose
The J of
the Jack,
clubs.
right?
Jack
Jack of clubs. 1920. Now, Siniso, I know some people on the call are going, wow, that's pretty cool. Like some people are saying, no ways, right? But they're thinking, somehow with sleight of hand, I must have turned that card upside down and placed it at position number 20 without anybody seeing, right? But Siniso, I don't want you to give me credit for the wrong thing here. Because I know you were thinking that too, yes? But Siniso, I really did influence you to think of the Jack of Clubs, and to prove it, I made the Jack of Clubs the only blue back card. And not only that, Siniso, I didn't even bother to bring the other cards. Thank you very much, everybody. Siniso, you were amazing. Thank you very much, my friend. We're going to get some more people up onto stage over here. Everybody give Siniso a huge round of applause. Awesome. Okay, so we're going to get some more people up onto the stage here, and we're going to get into something that's kind of interesting, something that originated in the 1930s. All right. So if everybody, if some people could switch on their camera, we'll get some people up onto the stage here. Excellent. We have Sean and Shazia again. Welcome back, guys. How you doing?
Good.
Good, good. Let me just pick up this thing that's dropped over here. Sorry about that. Okay. All right. So Sean, up here for you. That's from the 1930s. It's actually, I don't know if you've ever heard of ESP cards before. Have you heard of that before?
No.
I don't know.
They're also called Zener cards. And ESP or Zener cards were created as a parapsychology or psychological experiment. And they were created by a guy named Carl Zener in the 1930s. And these are what the Zener cards look like. Let me show them to you. So we've got a plus sign, we've got a circle, we've got wavy lines, we've got a star and a square. You can see that these look like ESP cards. ESP, by the way, stands for extrasensory perception. So we're going to put your ESP or your extrasensory perception to the test here today. But first of all, Shazia, if you look at these cards, a plus sign could resemble like an aeroplane, for instance. A circle, maybe a ball. Wavy lines could resemble the ocean. The star, maybe like twinkle little star. And maybe thinking outside of the box with the little square, right? Could resemble different things for you. But now that I've said these ideas, could you get like an image coming into your mind? It could be absolutely any image that you like, Shazia.
To be honest, I only see Squid Games because that's the Squid Games.
Squid Games.
Squid
Wow.
Games. That's what.
Interesting. So it just came out of the blue, right?
Squid Games.
Squid Games. Okay. So you could imagine like a squid or an octopus or something like that, right?
Yes.
Is that what you're saying?
Okay. Yes. Yes.
Like an image of an octopus? I mean, you could change your mind. It's totally up to you.
No, a squid. Squid.
You want the squid? Okay, cool. So squid obviously has a little bit of a longer body than an octopus, right? Yes?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Yes.
And Sean, if you hear of squid or Squid Games, could you come up with an associated word?
Yeah.
Tell me, what is that word?
Ink.
Ink. Interesting. Okay, cool. So Shazia, obviously, like her thinking of squid, like got you to think of ink, which makes sense completely, right? Because of the squid producing ink. Now, these are your choices. Are you happy with them?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Because we're going to get back to them later. And I've got a little envelope that's been sitting in full view. You've seen that there the entire time, right? I haven't touched it. I haven't come close to it. I'm going to leave it there in full view the entire time. You feel that that's all fair so far?
Yeah.
Okay, good, good. So, Sean, I've got some duplicate cards over here. These cards match the ones that are on the table. Okay, I'm going to mix them up a little bit. And you tell me, Sean. Oh, let me get that there. Sorry about that. You tell me, Sean, where should I... We're going to see if we could do this experiment of ESP. Extrasensory perception kind of gives you the ability to look into somebody's mind and kind of see their thoughts. You could also do it as a remote viewing kind of experiment, where one person stands in one room, another person stands in another. One of them looks at a card, and the other person picks what that card is, or kind of guesses what that card is. But I want you to really use your intuition here, Sean. Does this make sense to you?
Yeah.
Okay, good. So you tell me, where is this one? Which one does this one match with?
In the middle. The wavy lines.
The wavy lines? You just got like a sensation just for that, right?
Yep.
Sean, I have no idea how you knew that it was exactly the wavy lines. So
Yeah, we
weird.
tried that again.
Let's try this again. Let's try this again. How about this one?
Okay. Now back to the plus.
To the plus, right over here. Yes?
Mm-hmm.
And what about this one, Sean?
That's going to be the star.
The star. Okay, you're just kind of going with your intuition here, right?
Yeah.
And the last two, I'm not even gonna look. I'm just gonna kind of give them a good mix. and you tell me, where do they go? You want them swapped, or do you want them like this?
Yeah, swap them around.
You sure?
Yeah,
And you want this one over here?
100%.
Somehow you knew that they were supposed to be swapped around, and not only that, but you got the star and you got the plus. That's insane.
That's impossible.
Crazy. It's impossible, right?
Totally impossible.
Totally impossible. And what's even crazier, let me just get these off of here. Let me just take these off. What's even crazier is Sean and Shazia, before we even started this game, this envelope was sitting here in full view the entire time, right? Right over here. With a sticky dot on it.
Yes.
Completely sealed. I'm going to be very fair about this. If we look inside, there's a little piece of paper, I don't know if you can see that there,
Yes.
with a drawing on it. And it's a drawing. Well, let me show you what's written first. If you look at this, it actually says ink. And you can imagine that the drawing would match with exactly a squid. Thank you very much, everybody. Sean and Shazia, you were amazing.
Well done.
Thanks so much, guys. I have no idea. I mean, we must be connected in some way or the other, right? So crazy, so crazy. So I want to take this a little bit further right now. Do we have anybody else that we could do something with? Or do we have just Sean and Shazia here today? I assume. I guess if there is somebody else there, bring them up on stage. So I think Shazia, we left with yourself and Sean here. So Shazia, are you able to go onto your cell phone for me?
Yes, I am.
Great. Let me just get this over here. We'll bring this out
Oh no,
right
it's
now.
dead. It's dead.
Okay.
It died.
Do we have another? It died. That's okay. Do we have another lady who can help us out? Maybe Yudesh? Yudesh, are you there?
Come on, you Dash. Sonette. No, who else could it be?
No responses.
No, that's
All
scary.
right. So we're gonna do this with Sean. All right. So let's see. I mean, I've got other names over here that I can see here, but what about Michaela? Is Michaela there? Should we do it with Michaela, or should we do it with? I don't see anybody else, but I see. Should we use Michaela, Stephen, or should we go with Sean?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Use Michaela.
Michaela?
Okay, cool. Hi, Michaela. If you could switch on your camera for us, and we'll bring you up onto the screen over here. And Shazia, you can stay here with us as well. You can keep your camera on, and we'll leave you over here, right? Just so we have a nice full screen. So we'll just bring Shazia back up. And Michaela. Hi, Michaela. How you doing?
Hey, very good, and you?
Good, good. Do you have your cell phone with you?
I do.
You do? Okay, great. And what kind of phone is this? Samsung, iPhone?
A Samsung.
A Samsung. Okay, cool. So could you go onto your internet browser for me? And I want you to type in this, so your Google Chrome or Safari or whatever it is, and I want you to type in this full question. You're going to type in how many words are there on Wikipedia. And I'm going to show you guys how insanely impossible this next effect is that I'm about to do. In fact, we're going to play a little bit of a spiritual, we're going to create a little bit of a spiritual experience between Michaela and myself here today, but I'm going to see if we've got this connection first. So once you've typed in how many words are there on Wikipedia, Michaela, you can press search and you should see a website that says WikiCount. Do you see that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, good. And if we could get Michaela up onto, let's just add you over here, and we'll add Shazia as well. All right, just so we have a nice full screen. So Michaela, have you typed that? Did you find the website called WikiCount?
Yes.
Yes, and you clicked into it?
Yes.
You can show us what it says on your screen. Excellent. So you can see it says there are approximately 6 million articles in the English Wikipedia. And tell me, is that as of today?
Yes.
Excellent. And does it maybe say how many words there are per article?
1,424.
So 1424, right?
Correct.
So 1424 times 6 million, that gives us somewhere between 9 and 10 billion words on Wikipedia. And you don't have to work it out, you can go and work it out afterwards, but that's approximately, right? I'm going to read your mind on one of those 9 to 10 billion words, and that's how insanely impossible this next effect is that I'm about to do with you, Michaela. Let me just get my marker here. Here we go. Okay, great. So we'll just leave this over here. And tell me, Michaela, are you able to scroll down and visit Wikipedia?
Yes, I can.
Okay, good. And when you're inside Wikipedia, I want you to go into the little magnifying glass toward the top of the screen.
Okay.
And Michaela, I want you to look around the room that you're sitting in right now. And I want you to see something simple that you could draw. That you could draw in like 10, 15 seconds, but don't make it too simple like a sheet of paper because that's not very exciting. But make it something a little bit more interesting, but not too difficult that I couldn't draw it, okay? Or that you couldn't draw it either. Something that you could draw in 10, 15 seconds. Have you got something?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. You can type that into the magnifying glass there, into that search bar. And in fact, you know what? Why don't you rather delete every single letter? Delete every single letter, and rather type in a destination that you would like to travel to instead. So anywhere in the world that you would love to travel to. And once you've pressed search, you should get like a picture of this place. Do you have a picture there of the place? Mm-hmm. Excellent. And I want you to scroll down through the article, scroll past the description, because I don't want you to think of something in the description that may give away what this place is, all right? Scroll into the body of the article, and I want you to choose a nice long word with 7 letters or more, so you know that if I get this right, this will be super impressive, first of all. But second of all, make sure that the word is totally disrelated to your to the place that you're thinking of. So it's a word with 7 letters or more, just some random word. Have you got something?
Yes, I do.
Okay, cool. And put your phone face down so there's no way that I could ever see anything. So Michaela, right now, it's impossible for me to know what your word is, right?
Mm-hmm.
Would you all agree?
Yeah.
Yes? Because Michaela, you didn't even touch that word and show anybody else in the room that you're sitting in, right?
Yeah.
You just thought of it in your mind, yes?
Yeah.
So we're going to see if we can form a connection right now. So I want you to raise your right hand like this for me. And Michaela, you're going to feel like a buzzing sensation just over here on the palm of your hand. Tell me when you feel that. Do you feel something there?
No.
Not yet?
No.
I feel it on my side, Michaela. I think we're definitely connected here. Let's see if we are. I want you to think of the first letter of your word and just repeat that first letter over and over, like R, R. It's not an R. Is it an A?
No.
What's the first letter?
It's an O.
An O. I was getting like an A. I did mention an A. Is there an A in your word?
Yeah.
There is. Okay, cool. That's probably what I'm getting. So I want you to think of your word right now, and I want you to spell out your word letter by letter, just in your mind, never out loud. Start now. Stop. That was a C. Yes. Third letter down.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Okay, good. From the letter C, I want you to keep spelling out your word just in your mind. Do that now. Stop, Michaela. That was an S that you just saw in your mind.
Yeah.
Excellent. And right now, Michaela, even though you're trying to compose yourself and hold yourself together, you skipped all the way to the end of the word and you looked at another letter S.
actually
Because
didn't,
you
but now
freaked
that
out
you
and
mentioned
you're
it, yes.
like, somehow Larry knows what my word is, and you looked at the last letter, which is an S, right?
Right.
Yes. Now, Michaela, I have no idea what your word is. Can you just spell it out from beginning to end, just in your mind, never out loud? Start again now. Excellent. I'm definitely getting this. Definitely. Okay, good. Michaela, did you almost think of another word?
No.
Okay, good. You went straight for this word.
Yeah.
So if I got your word, one of like 9 to 10 billion words on Wikipedia right now, this would be insane, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So Michaela, for the first time, I want you to tell us all, what is the word that you're merely thinking of?
Occasion.
Occasions?
Yeah.
Now, Michaela, this just shows that we energetically connected here today, and I wanted to test that. I wanted to make sure that that we can actually do this next experiment together, because we're going to do an experiment in astral travel or an out-of-body experience. Have you guys heard of like out-of-body experiences before, or astral travel or something like that? Yes?
Yeah.
So Michaela says no. Basically, Michaela, what it is it basically said that some people can move out of their body. Like their spirit, themselves as a spiritual being can move out of their body, travel to a completely random place, have a conversation with somebody else in this place that nobody else would ever know about, because it was a private conversation between two beings. So Michaela, you and I, we're going to try this out together here today. I know it sounds strange, but we're going to try it out, all right? So I want you to sit up straight in your chair. And Michaela, I want you to put both feet flat on the floor. Okay, good. And put both hands flat on your knees. And take a deep breath in. And breathe out. And breathe in. And as you breathe out, allow your eyes to close. Excellent. And Michaela, right now, I want you to stand up out of your chair, not with your body, but just you. So don't physically stand, but I want you to move or stand up outside of your body right now. And Michaela, if you can't do it, it's okay. Just imagine it. Just imagine it. Try and imagine it, right? Excellent. And Michaela, you're seeing the room around you right now. And I want you to move over to the door and just keep your eyes closed. Move over to the door. That's great. And Michaela, I want you to grab hold of the door handle and pull that door open toward you in your mind. And right now, it looks like it's a portal to another world. There's lots of bright light that you see. And I want you to step through that portal, and I want you to step into this other world. And right now, when you're looking around, you're actually starting to see that this other place that you've stepped into is your dream destination that you thought about just a moment ago. Do you see it around you?
Yeah.
Excellent. So keep looking around you, because I'm going to come and join you right now, Michaela. Michaela, right now, I'm moving toward you. And I'm walking right toward you, and you can see me coming down the path. Can you see me there?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Very good. You're doing so good, Michaela. I see lots of old buildings. Does that make sense?
I'm not seeing buildings.
Because I'm seeing lots of old buildings, and I'm seeing like a figure on a hill, almost like a religious figure or something like that.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Interesting. And I think you're quite near this religious figure right now, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, good. So Michaela, I'm coming toward you, and right now in your mind, just in your imagination, I want you to imagine whispering the image that you thought of just a moment ago that you thought you could draw in 10-15 seconds. I want you to whisper that in my ear. Never say anything out loud. Just do it in your mind's eye. Do that now. Excellent, Michaela. I've got something. You guys saw she didn't move her lips, right? Okay, excellent. So Michaela, I want you to step back over to that portal. Step back through the door, back into the office that you're sitting in, and sit back down in your chair and open up your eyes. How did that feel?
Can't explain it.
You can't explain. It's like a kind of like
I
a
feel
weird
like-
feeling, right?
Yeah, I just feel like my mind was obviously in a different space, but I haven't moved.
Okay, cool. No, that's absolutely perfect. So you felt like you were in a different space, but you could perceive your body here in this room, right?
Mm-hmm.
See, what else I saw where we met is I saw lots of water. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Almost like we were not quite on an island, but I saw some islands off in the distance.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, and I also saw some mountains, and I saw like there's also like a major city down south. But where we were, there was this religious figure. Was that? Oh, I can't remember the name of it, but was it a picture? Was it like a statue of Jesus?
Yeah.
Yes. And I can't remember what that's called now. I know it's the Christ Redeemer, I think it is.
Yeah.
Were we in Rio de Janeiro?
Yes.
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 Amazing. And what's even crazier is before you thought of Rio de Janeiro, or when we were in Rio de Janeiro before together, sorry, my lips are getting tongue-tied here, or my tongue's getting tongue-tied, you whispered something in my ear. It was like an image of something. Let me see if I can get this here. Sorry, here we go. I'm going to try and draw this. I think something like this. Like this. And I'm going to like draw little things like this. And I'm just going to write what this is because my drawing skills aren't that great. Tell me, Michaela, could you close your eyes again for a second? Don't open up your eyes. This is what I got from your mind when you like imaginarily whispered in my ear. Keep your eyes closed. Michaela, I want you to kind of describe what this looks like, this image that you wanted to draw. Describe what it looks like. Don't say what it is, just describe what it looks like.
Out loud.
Yes.
It's brown and
Okay.
bumpy.
Yeah.
Small and edible.
Does it have like a wrapper?
No.
It doesn't have a wrapper.
No.
Okay, can you tell us what is this object that you were thinking of?
A Rice Krispie treat.
Open up your eyes. Is that what that looked like? Something like that? Yes, I think you were.
But it doesn't have in a wrapper.
You were describing it without the wrapper, right?
Yes.
Yes. Thank you very much. That's your Rice Krispie treat over there. Everybody, Michaela, you were amazing. Thank you. Rice Krispies, who would have thought? All right, so you guys have been so fantastic. We've come to the end right now. We're going to have a little bit of fun here where we're going to play a little game that hopefully it matches up with my prediction from last night, because I had a dream last night about you guys. And it was a dream about superheroes, and I think it's really fitting for today's event because I believe that you're the superheroes of today. So, Stephen, if you want to partake in this, we can get you up here. That would be great. And maybe we can get 2 other people. That would be amazing.
I think we have to get Rochelle up here.
Yes, let's get Rochelle up here.
Just because we can. Hey, Larry.
Yes, exactly. So in my dream, hey, Rochelle, how are you doing?
Fine, and you?
Good. So maybe we could get one last person. We could get Shazia again. That would be awesome.
Come on, Udesh.
Oh, Udesh, are you there? Looks like Yudesh is like not wanting to budge there. Okay, cool. So I had a dream last night that there was this evil villain that tried to take over the world. And like in all good stories, there was the superhero that came to save the day, and he saved the love of his life. And you guys are going to decide who the evil villain is and who is the superhero, etc., right? Now, like I say, I believe that you're the superheroes of today, and I think that this dream was so appropriate for today's particular event. So who wants to imagine the supervillain?
Yeah, that'll be me.
Okay, good. So we'll have Stephen imagining the supervillain. We'll have Sean imagining the superhero. Rochelle, you can imagine the weapon that our superhero is going to use to defeat the supervillain. And Shazia, you can imagine who the love is of our superhero's life. All right? Okay, cool. So Stephen, what is our supervillain's name?
His real name, or the new name we're giving him.
It can be somebody from a comic book, or it can be a completely made up name. Any name from a comic book or completely made up. Totally up to you.
Can only be the Joker.
The Joker. All right. And tell me, Sean, what is our superhero's name?
I'm going to go for Deadpool.
Deadpool. I love it.
Sure, we haven't got them switched around, eh, Sean?
Completely.
So the Joker and Deadpool, all right, and yeah, exactly, because Deadpool is half and half, I guess. And tell me, Rochelle, what is the weapon that Deadpool's going to use to defeat the mighty Joker?
Golf club.
A golf club. Wow, that sounds brutal. That
sounds like Deadpool.
It sounds like Deadpool, actually. So, a golf club. I love that. Okay, cool. And then, Shazia, what is the love of Deadpool's name? What is the love of his life's name?
Candy.
Candy.
Okay, Candy, yes.
Say that again?
Candy.
So I put a D there. I'm going to make that into an N. And then you say Candy like that, yes. Or Candy?
Yes, Candy.
Candy. Okay, cool. So you decided that the Joker was going to come and take over the world, that Deadpool was going to save the day using a golf club, all right? And he was going to save the love of his life, Candy. I want to be very fair about this. I've been standing here in full view the entire time with something inside my pocket. Let me just get it out here for you. Something very interesting. Let me just get it out here. Got a wallet here. It's a little bit of a fat wallet. Let me just get it past my mic. I don't know if you can see that. But it's completely sealed. Completely sealed with a zipper compartment. Can you see the zipper compartment?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Inside that zipper compartment is an envelope. Can you see the envelope there?
Yeah.
This has been sitting here the entire time, throughout the entire show, in full view. What's inside that zipper compartment, like I say, is that envelope. Let me just pull that out there. And you can see it's completely sealed all the way around. Yes. And check this out. Inside that envelope is one little piece of paper, and it says, this is so crazy, it says, "Last night I had a dream." Thank you very much.
Nice try.
I'm just kidding with you
We're
guys.
not letting you off so lightly, Larry.
Exactly. It says, "Last night I had a dream that there was an evil villain named the Joker that tried to take over the world, and luckily Deadpool was there to save the day, using a secret weapon called a golf club." And not only that, but he helped us win the battle. He also helped us save the love of his life. I have no idea how this happened, but the love of his life is Candy. Thank you so much, guys. I'm Larry Stoffer. Absolutely fantastic. Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank
everyone.
you. Thanks very much, Larry.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks very much, everybody. I hope you all enjoyed Larry's show. And I really do suggest pop onto YouTube and see some of his other sets. And yeah, it's I can't actually believe what I've seen. I'm not sure I have seen what I was trying to look around, but no. Thank you again, everybody, for joining us this afternoon. Thanks, Johan. And let's see, Yodesh, I think one or two others that are still on. Have a good afternoon, what's left of it, and good evening, and enjoy the rest of the week. Thanks very much. Cheers, everybody.